What's up, YouTubers? So before we get started with this video, on first take, they're going to be talking about how apparently now Kawhi Leonard is selfish and indifferent. So let's see what they have to say about that.
They clearly need a point guard. Everybody knows it, and Kawhi Leonard privately has clamored for one. It's not that he wants them to get rid of Patrick Beverley, but Patrick Beverley is basically a defensive ace who's small and has to play opposing guard. So they need a point.
What was all this talk about needing a point guard when the first game of the year when they beat the Lakers? What was all this talk about needing a point guard when they were second in the West for pretty much the good portion of the season? Where was all that talk at?
Guard that can run a team and can shoot. Patrick Beverley is that defensive energizer bunny that comes off the bench and do it for you. Kawhi Leonard is clamoring for that, but it's important to point this out. Max Kellerman, you can have the greatest point guard in the world. If Paul George is alone in the right corner and hits the side of the backboard while the Denver Nuggets are making one run after another and an onslaught and avalanche is coming their way, and you follow it up with brick after brick after brick, there's nothing a point guard to do that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Now here's
Exactly.
the other part. Hold on, Max. Here's the other part about Kawhi Leonard that I want to give to you. I'm going to hold Kawhi Leonard more accountable than you. And it's not just because of Game 7. It's because since you are the face of the franchise and the leader of the franchise, right, it's not enough for you to do your job. See, when we talk about the greatness of LeBron James, this is where LeBron James has a totally bona fide, he's totally justified in having an attitude with the world that doesn't appreciate this about him. As great as he is, Max points this out, he does all he can to peel out the greatness from others. Kawhi, there's two words that have been used about him, indifferent and selfish. They say...
Hold up, so now he's indifferent and selfish? Everybody knew what they were getting when Kawhi first came up to the Lakers, to the Clippers. Everybody knew what was going to happen when he went to the Toronto Raptors. Everybody knows how Kawhi is. So let's not act like, all of a sudden now he's selfish and he's indifferent and he doesn't talk to people. He's always been the same way. Everybody knows he acts like a robot. Nobody really knows what he's thinking. He just does his thing. Everybody knows it, and he does his thing.
The selfishness breeds from the indifference. The fact that you don't seem to prioritize galvanizing the folks around you means that essentially you're more concerned about you than anything else.
Let me just say.
And he can't do that.
That's not what that means. Like I said, everybody knew what Kawhi was when he first came to the Clippers, all right? Everybody knew his personality and how he gets down. So now all of a sudden, now he's selfish and indifferent? I don't think so. The Clippers knew what they were getting when they signed Kawhi Leonard.
Have that leave.
Go ahead, Max. He can't do that, and that's what I want to tell you.
Let me just say, I appreciate that. And the real difference is LeBron has been the chosen one since he was identified as a basketball genius as a child, right?
Yeah.
Kawhi is board man gets paid. Let me grab these rebounds so I can make the league. They entered the league in very different ways. Much less was expected of Kawhi.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie's right. He's never going to have a personality transformation. He is who he is. But maybe it...
And Kawhi had never called himself the GOAT, so that takes off a lot of pressure off of him when he does whatever he wants to do.
Does need to be impressed upon Kawhi, maybe by Ty Lue. And by the way, Kawhi's become a much better passer, but it's not even about the fact that LeBron's more of a point guard than Kawhi. Maybe it needs to be impressed upon Kawhi that what needs to be higher for him in his list of priorities is bringing a team together in any way he can.
I would say this to you, though.
What was all this bringing the team together when they were winning last season? What was all of that? What was all that when they were second in the West? What was all that when they were beating up on the Lakers, even though they finished up 2-2? I mean, this is just ridiculous. This is a bunch of people just hating on Kawhi now, trying to find a reason to bash him when everybody knows Kawhi's personality. This doesn't make any sense now. All of a sudden, he's selfish and indifferent. Nobody was saying that before.
We have seen people throughout history have personality transplants at work. Personally, on a personal level, you are who you are. But when you show up to work for those couple of hours, you can have an infusion of something if you're convinced it works.
It's very true. Stephen A. is very shy in his personal life.
Right,
he almost never talks to anyone. He's very withdrawn. But once the camera goes on, he's a whole new guy.
That's right. Now, that's absolutely a lie, and I know it, and we're both joking about it. But shockingly, I can be quiet sometimes. But you certainly wouldn't know that
When
watching
you're
me on the
asleep.
airwaves. Oh, trust me. How am I going to have energy on camera if I got all of this energy off camera? I know when to shut the hell up and chill out and be mellow.
A natural born leader in his
mellow.
sleep.
That's right. But you got it. You get in seriousness and all seriousness. You gotta be able. You can't. If you got your money, if you got the bag, and you got the chips, and you got the resume, you gotta care enough to sit up there and peel something out of other people.
Yeah.
And Kawhi has to do that.
I mean, come on, this is ridiculous. No, like I said before, over and over, nobody was talking about this before. It was Kawhi, he's in it. He has his own personality. He does his own thing, the way he does things, and let him do what he does. It's not a problem. All of a sudden, now he's selfish and indifferent. I can't say that enough. I mean, the Clippers knew what they were getting when they signed Kawhi Leonard, and Kawhi Leonard's not going to be fake for anybody. But they knew that before they signed him, that he is the way he is, and nobody's going to change him, and it is what it is. They gambled by picking him up and wanted to run with him, and things just didn't work out. He didn't do so well. Paul George didn't do so well in the last couple of playoff games. But like I said, that doesn't mean he's selfish now or he's indifferent. All of a sudden, now he needs to change his personality. They knew what they were getting when they signed Kawhi.
Rondo would fix that.
All right,
Think
yeah.
so,
Well, we'll
maybe.
see if Ty
You know
Lue
what?
can fix that.
Clippers believe he would.
All right, well,
Clippers
yeah.
believe he would.
Ty Lue's resume speaks for himself. One of
If
three
I'm
coaches
Rondo
in
and
NBA
AD, I
history
ain't
to
leaving
reach
LA.
No,
I ain't
I'm
leaving
not
the
the
Lakers.
NBA
Catfish isn't changing Kawhi Leonard's personality. I guarantee you that.
Finals.
I'm not leaving the
Not
Lakers.
leaving the Lakers.
First
I'm not leaving the
preseason